We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet to share these conversations on the Vegan Compass podcast.
We extend our respect to elders past and present, as well as any of our listeners and guests. Hello and welcome to the Vegan Compass podcast, unveiling truths, inspiring change. We are your hosts, Rick Allport and Mackenzie Cross.
From wherever you're listening, please be sure to like and subscribe to support this podcast. Now to the episode. Welcome back to the Vegan Compass podcast. This is our News of the Week episode where we guide you through the headlines on all things animal rights, activism, plant-based food, and the journey toward a more compassionate world. I'm Mackenzie Cross.
And I'm Rick Allport. Today we've got some heavy topics to cover, starting with the wildfires in LA and a shocking revelation regarding an animal cruelty case.
But it's not all bad news. There's some uplifting research to share, including a fascinating study that shows plant-rich diets are excellent for gut health.
Plus, we dive into an important environmental issue. Residents near Perth calling for a tourist ban to protect a dwindling species.
Stick with us because we've got a lot to unpack today. But first, let's get into the story that's been making headlines this week, the tragic wildfires in LA.
Los Angeles is facing what some experts call the worst wildfires in its history. Blazes across the city have claimed 5 lives, destroyed over 1,000 buildings, and forced tens of thousands to evacuate. The fires, which are devastating both people and wildlife, are intensifying due to the impact of climate change on California's fire seasons.
It's absolutely horrifying, Rick. Central to the crisis are the Santa Ana winds, or devil winds, which blow hot, dry air from the Utah and Nevada deserts across Southern California between September and May. Wind gusts exceeding 160 kilometers per hour funnel through mountain canyons, drying vegetation and creating ideal conditions for wildfires.
Compounding the issue is a historic drought. Downtown Los Angeles has recorded just 0.3 inches of rain since May, with 1/3 of California in drought. As these fires rage, wildlife is being decimated, with many species losing their homes and lives.
Climate change, largely driven by the burning of fossil fuels and the widespread impact of animal agriculture, is exacerbating wildfire conditions worldwide. But through the devastation, there are glimmers of hope. The community spirit is strong, with many places open for shelter, animal boarding, and distribution hubs of free items for those who have lost everything. One animal rescue organisation, Pasadena Humane, has taken in hundreds of animals who have been burnt or injured in the fires.
Mackenzie, what a great reminder that there are compassionate humans out there. If you would like to support the rescue and animal care efforts in LA, we have put some links in the show notes. On to our next story, where a distressing case of animal cruelty has emerged from Western Australia. A pet cat tragically died after being locked inside an esky for 8 hours. A 38-year-old man has been charged after allegedly confining the cat without water, resulting in their death.
That's right, Rick. The man claimed the cat was acting aggressively and could harm his children. Instead of seeking help or a safer solution, he confined the cat in an esky, removing the drain hole to provide airflow, an insufficient measure. Experts stated that the cat likely suffered from hypoxia and hypercapnia due to a lack of oxygen and a dangerous buildup of carbon dioxide.
Tragically, this was not a wild or free-living cat, as initially claimed. It was someone's companion, later identified through the microchip. The rightful owner was devastated to learn of their cat's death. This heart-wrenching incident underscores the suffering the animal endured, left in a confined, suffocating space with no means of escape.
The man justified his actions by saying he feared the cat might scratch his children or disturb his rabbits. However, countless alternatives could have ensured safety for all involved without resorting to such cruelty.
So true, Mackenzie. Legal consequences now loom over the accused, who faces potential fines of up to $50,000 and a maximum prison sentence of 5 years if convicted. However, this case raises deeper concerns about how to prevent similar tragedies.
Education is essential to fostering compassion and understanding, emphasizing humane solutions to conflicts with animals. Stronger laws and widespread awareness can help create meaningful change and prevent future suffering.
This heartbreaking story serves as a reminder of our collective responsibility to protect and care for all animals, ensuring they are treated with the respect and dignity they deserve. Let's move now to a story about Penguin Island, south of Perth. It is a beloved icon of Western Australia that has become the centre of a crisis threatening its little penguin population. In just over a decade, the penguin numbers have dropped by 97%, leaving only 114 on the island. Rockingham residents are urging the state government to ban tourism to help protect the penguins from further decline.
That sounds pretty reasonable, Rick. The drastic population drop results from a combination of factors, including climate change and tourism. The penguins face extreme stress during their molting period, which coincides with peak tourist seasons. During this time, penguins must stay on land to grow new feathers while avoiding overheating. However, unrestricted tourist access leaves them with no quiet spaces to cool off. Visitors have been seen touching, handling, and disturbing the penguins, forcing them to retreat under boardwalks and only emerge after the last ferry leaves.
Adding to the stress, boat strikes are now a leading cause of death for these penguins, as more vessels navigate the area. Residents have criticised the government for failing to protect the penguins, despite their significance to Rockingham's identity. The city prominently uses penguins in its branding, yet their survival is being overshadowed by recreational tourism.
Some locals are advocating for the island's closure to tourists for a few years to allow the penguins to recover. While the government has introduced measures such as extended winter closures and visit restrictions during extreme heat, these efforts are considered insufficient to counter the rapidly worsening situation.
Chad D'Souza of Perth Wildlife Encounters, a long-time conservation advocate on the island, suggests designating the area as a conservation zone. This would provide the infrastructure and focus needed to help the penguin population rebound. However, this requires the government to fund education and conservation efforts adequately.
Balancing tourism and conservation remains crucial. Educational programs could allow people to appreciate the penguins without harming them, but the current prioritization of tourism risks losing the very species that makes this island unique.
Absolutely, Mackenzie. Penguin Island's little penguins are at a tipping point. The actions taken by the government and community now could determine whether these iconic animals thrive or vanish forever.
Now for some positive news. A recent study offers more compelling reasons to embrace plant-based eating, revealing significant gut health benefits. Conducted by researchers from Zoe and the University of Trento, the study analysed gut bacteria from over 21,000 participants across multiple countries, highlighting that vegans tend to have healthier gut microbiomes than omnivores.
I'm not surprised, Mackenzie. While omnivores had the most diverse gut bacteria, the study showed they also harboured higher levels of harmful bacteria linked to inflammation, colorectal cancer, and poor heart health. In contrast, vegans had less bacterial diversity, but significantly more beneficial bacteria, which helps combat those health issues.
The research found that plant-rich diets fostered anti-inflammatory bacteria that aid in fibre fermentation and the production of short-chain fatty acids, key for supporting immune and brain health. Conversely, diets high in red meat were associated with harmful bacteria that promote inflammation and reduce protective short-chain fatty acids.
Interestingly, vegetarians' gut microbiomes revealed bacteria linked to dairy consumption, which weren't present in vegans. This distinction underscores the additional benefits of fully transitioning to a vegan diet for optimal gut health.
Very interesting, Rick. Tim Spector, one of the researchers, recommends aiming for 30 different plant foods weekly, spices, seeds, nuts, and vegetables, to maximize gut health benefits. Incorporating variety, not just cutting out animal products, is key to improving overall well-being.
The study highlights how plant-based diets not only support health, but also reduce inflammation, improve heart health, and protect against chronic illnesses. This research reinforces that veganism benefits the body and the planet. Moving on to a story from Brisbane, where a pet shop owner's request to display a juvenile freshwater crocodile has been denied by the Queensland Civil and Administrative Tribunal, highlighting significant animal welfare issues and the ethics of exhibiting wild animals.
Lachelle McMahon, the shop owner, had challenged the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries decision back in 2022 to refuse her an exhibition license for a crocodile of the species Crocodilus johnsoni. However, the tribunal upheld the rejection due to shortcomings in McMahon's management plan and her history of animal welfare offences.
What a good outcome, Mackenzie. The tribunal found McMahon's plans for the crocodile lacked sufficient detail to ensure its care. This species requires precise conditions, including proper heating, feeding schedules, and pond filtration, as it is highly sensitive to environmental factors. Concerns were raised that without meticulous planning, the crocodile's welfare would be jeopardized.
McMahon's past convictions under the Animal Care and Protection Act further influenced the tribunal's decision. She had previously failed to provide adequate living conditions and medical care for turtles. Despite her qualifications and positive references from veterinarians, these prior offences cast doubt on her ability to meet the high standards required to care for a crocodile.
The case underscores the broader question of whether wild animals like crocodiles should be displayed at all. While rehabilitation and conservation settings can provide care and protection, exhibiting wildlife for entertainment raises ethical concerns. Without proper conditions, animals in captivity are at risk, suffering from stress and poor health.
Absolutely, Rick. The tribunal's decision prioritises animal welfare over business interests, setting a precedent for stricter regulations on wildlife exhibition. It emphasises the need for detailed management plans and rigorous oversight to ensure the well-being of animals in captivity.
This outcome is a positive step for animal rights, highlighting the importance of responsible care and challenging the ethics of exhibiting wild animals for human enjoyment. It calls for reflection on how we treat wildlife, urging a shift towards prioritising their welfare over commercial interests. We're now turning our attention to a topic that's been in the headlines recently: kangaroo culling. The ongoing practice of kangaroo culling in Victoria's Grampians region has come under intense scrutiny, especially after the devastating bushfires that ravaged 76,000 hectares of land. Wildlife advocates are urging an immediate halt to commercial harvesting, highlighting the toll on native wildlife already struggling to recover.
Following the fires, which caused significant destruction to native plants and animals, Wildlife Victoria has emphasised the need to pause kangaroo culling to assess the long-term impact on their populations. Survivors of these catastrophic events are now facing further threats from exploitation for meat and leather industries.
That's right, Mackenzie. But kangaroos are not the only species affected. The fires severely disrupted habitats for small mammals, destroying essential food sources and shelters. Coupled with overgrazing and the absence of natural predators like dingoes, kangaroo populations are increasingly vulnerable.
Proponents of culling argue that it helps native vegetation and smaller animals recover by controlling kangaroo numbers. However, critics point out that culling during such a critical recovery period is both cruel and unsustainable. The Grampians region, already hit by multiple large-scale bushfires in recent years, has seen its kangaroo population decline drastically. The Black Summer bushfires alone killed an estimated 200,000 kangaroos and wallabies, leaving survivors to face additional threats from commercial killing.
Wildlife Victoria has raised alarms over annual culling quotas which permit over 106,000 kangaroos to be killed across the state, including more than 32,000 in the Grampians. These figures are deeply concerning, given the lack of proper oversight and the inherent cruelty in the culling process. Lisa Palmer from Wildlife Victoria highlights how this practice exacerbates the challenges faced by already depleted populations.
It's quite horrific, Rick. The debate also raises ethical questions. kangaroos, as sentient beings, have a right to live free from exploitation. Treating them as mere resources undermines their intrinsic value and ignores their critical role in Australia's ecosystem. Advocates argue for a complete cessation of kangaroo culling, emphasising the need to allow these animals to recover and thrive in their natural habitats.
Stopping the culling is not just about animal rights, it's about conservation and ensuring future generations can experience the unique beauty of kangaroos in the wild. The decisions made today will shape the future of these iconic animals. It's time to prioritise their welfare, halt commercial killing, and foster a sustainable coexistence.
On to our next story, where the recent rescue of a 5-month-old gorilla named Zayton from a smuggling operation highlights the urgent need to address the illegal wildlife trade. Zayton was found in a cargo hold of a Turkish Airlines flight, smuggled from Nigeria to Thailand. Packed in a small box, the baby gorilla was severely traumatised, but is now recovering at an Istanbul zoo. While this rescue offers some relief, it also underscores the immense scale and cruelty of animal trafficking.
Such a sad story, Mackenzie. Gorillas, already critically endangered, are frequently targeted by traffickers for profit. The illegal trade not only threatens species survival, but also inflicts unimaginable suffering on the animals involved. Zaytin, forcibly removed from his natural habitat and family, endured a harrowing journey driven by human greed.
Istanbul has become a major hub for illegal wildlife trade, with customs officials frequently intercepting trafficked animals. However, for every rescue, countless animals suffer or die in transit. This systemic issue demands immediate and decisive action.
The current penalties for animal trafficking are inadequate to deter this lucrative trade. Stronger laws and harsher sentences are essential to combat the exploitation of vulnerable species. Enforcement must go beyond border interceptions, targeting the entire supply chain, from poachers to buyers.
That's right, Rick. Public awareness and education also play a vital role in addressing the demand that fuels trafficking. Exotic pets and rare animal products drive this cruel industry. By changing attitudes and reducing demand, we can undermine the financial incentives that perpetuate these crimes.
Animal trafficking is not just a wildlife issue, it is a global crisis. The physical and psychological toll on animals like Zaytin is a stark reminder of the human responsibility to protect these sentient beings. Stricter regulations, tougher penalties, and a commitment to conservation are necessary to end this exploitation.
The fight against wildlife trafficking requires collective action to ensure animals can live freely in their natural habitats, safe from greed and cruelty. The time to act is now.
Heading to Western Australia's Kimberley region, where wildlife authorities are investigating the mysterious deaths of 10 melon-headed whales found along a beach and in mangroves near Broome. The discovery was first reported when a local resident found 3 dead whales at Mangalagan Crab Creek Beach. Later, 7 more carcasses were found in nearby mangroves and creeks.
What a grim discovery, Rick. The Department of Biodiversity, Conservation and Attractions confirmed the find, noting that melon-headed whales are typically an offshore species and not commonly seen near shore. Local authorities safely removed 7 of the mammals, collecting samples for further investigation, while 1 whale's skeleton will be used for research at the WA Museum. 3 whales were left to decompose naturally.
The whales were found with cuts and abrasions on their fins and tails, likely caused by strong fluctuating tides that washed them ashore. Broome resident Thomas Howard, who stumbled upon the whales while fishing, described the discovery as overwhelming, noting that he'd never seen whales washed up in the area before.
Authorities have closed Crab Creek Road, the only access route, and issued a warning for increased shark and crocodile activity in the area. A shark advice notice is in place between Fall Point Beach and Crab Creek Beach. Authorities will continue to monitor the site for additional whale carcasses. The cause of the deaths remains under investigation.
To wrap up today's episode, we're finishing on a really positive note, with a look at another wonderful plant-based protein that's not only healthy, but incredibly versatile: tofu. Whether you're vegan or simply looking to incorporate more plant-based meals, tofu offers a host of health benefits and culinary possibilities.
Tofu is packed with protein, providing 10 to 20 grams per serving, making it an excellent meat alternative. It's also rich in essential nutrients including iron, calcium, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and B vitamins. Low in fat and cholesterol-free, tofu is heart healthy and supports muscle repair and overall well-being.
It really is a powerhouse, Mackenzie. One of tofu's standout benefits is its contribution to bone health. High in calcium and magnesium, and often fortified with vitamin D, tofu helps build and maintain strong bones, especially as we age. It's a great dairy-free option for boosting calcium intake.
For those managing their weight, tofu is a nutrient-dense, low-calorie option that helps you feel fuller for longer, reducing the likelihood of overeating. Beyond nutrition, tofu's versatility in the kitchen is unmatched. Firm tofu can be crumbled into plant-based scrambled eggs or shredded for a vegan pulled pork dish. Silken tofu blends beautifully into smoothies, creamy sauces, or desserts.
Tofu's health benefits extend beyond its nutritional content. Rich in isoflavones, antioxidants with potential cancer-fighting properties, it may lower the risk of certain cancers, including breast and prostate cancer, according to some studies. Additionally, firm tofu is low in FODMAPs, making it easier to digest and naturally lactose-free, which is ideal for those with digestive sensitivities.
Great points there, Rick. Tofu is suitable for a wide range of dietary needs. It's perfect for athletes needing protein for muscle recovery, individuals managing heart health, or anyone seeking to reduce their reliance on animal products. However, those with soy allergies or specific thyroid conditions should consult a healthcare provider before adding tofu to their diet.
Incorporating tofu into your meals is simple and rewarding. Whether you bake, fry, scramble, or blend it, tofu adapts to countless recipes and cuisines. With a little practice and creativity, it can become a staple ingredient in your kitchen.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. Remember, whether you're hitting the streets doing outreach or just sharing information with a friend, every action counts. We hope today's stories have inspired you to take that next step in supporting animal rights and making the world a kinder place for all beings.
Thanks for joining us on the Vegan Compass podcast. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight and keep moving forward to a completely vegan world. Thanks for listening to the Vegan Compass podcast, unveiling truths, inspiring change.
Be sure to follow us on social media at @thevegancompass_podcast. See you next time.